how can I create a better experience of life for myself and others?
Because I truly think that partner dance is maybe one of the most powerful tools of connection.
Understand if this is a yes for the task and for myself, or if that was just a yes for the task and a no for myself.
Gratitude allows you to celebrate any levels of win from any timeline, present, future, past. Like it's something that is like timeless.
I don't ever want to just show up. I want to bring in my full force, my full self.
Forgiveness allows you to know that however you showed up, whenever you showed up, it was all that you had. It was all that was possible.
Understanding the autopilot and see how much you are being truly intentional about what you are creating. I think that's the hardest part by far.
Understand your why, so then nothing ever feels like you are spending energy.
Your no's can be given with so much loving kindness. I think we've associated the no with a feeling of restriction and rejection.
How can we become a better contributor in the community? What does that look like? And can you do better? Well, let's find out. Hello everyone, and welcome back to ZoukNerds. In this episode, we welcome back Nelly Caldeira, an incredible personal transformational coach to guide us in understanding how, why, and when could we be better contributors in the community. I personally learned a lot from this conversation, and I guarantee you will too. So, let's go. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of ZoukNerds. My name is Alisson Sandi, and once again we have our beautiful co-host Gui Prada. Hello Gui.
Hello Alisson, hello everybody, welcome back.
And we have back again our beautiful Nelly. Hello Nelly, welcome back.
Hello everyone, I'm so excited to be here again.
And as promised, Nelly is going to take us to the moon and beyond. As in this episode, we're going to be talking about how to be a great contributor in the community. I know it's a big word, but we're going to kind of give some examples here about how to contribute to this community, not just as a dancer, as a professional, as a teacher, as a DJ, as a community builder, event organizer, any of the above and below that makes this beautiful world of dance that we live in. And we want to connect with the why. We want to connect with the how. How and why we spend so much time in our own dance craft, or the dance craft of our students, or the websites, the classes, the curriculums, the event planning, the finances, all of the things. So let's start with this. How are we feeling about our contribution in the community? What do we do in the community now that we're happy with or that we want to do more? I'm going to start with myself, and I'm going to say, I love what I'm doing here with ZoukNerds, with the classes that I teach here in Taipei and helping the community to develop. But I do miss connecting with people around the world like I used to do when I was in North America and being with everybody in Europe or Australia. So that's something that my why for the community is being fed through being here with ZoukNerds, like I was talking to Nelly just before we started recording. But my how is kind of shifting because of where I am right now. And how about you guys?
Wow, I love what you just said, that I felt so inspired already because our house changed so much depending on the context and the life phase that we're in. I love what you share. My contribution to the community right now happens in different roles, right? And I think for some of us, we have more than one. So I have the teacher contribution side. I have the organizer contribution. I have the coach contribution. And I also have the dancer contribution, just like everybody else. I feel like I try to contribute with all of these roles based on the same principle for me, which is like, how can I create a better experience of life for myself and others? I think this is how I live. So when my how changes, it just looks different, but it comes from the same principle. When I start coaching, I used to hear this quote about how can you leave someone better than you found them? Like my intention is to leave someone like they go better than they came, in whichever shape or form, whatever better means here. And I think this is the mindset that I have. And because I'm so passionate about human behavior, human interaction, I think it makes it easier for me to be connected to this mindset. But I think this is my why. And my how also changes, you know? I feel like if my why is there, I feel accomplished somehow.
Yeah. Well, I also feel very happy about how I navigate the dance world and what I do in the dance world, which is the regular classes here in Washington, D.C., teaching people almost every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Organizing, planning, all the things also feed a part of me that likes the project building
Yes.
and managing and organizing aspects. And the why is because I truly think that partner dance is maybe one of the most powerful tools of connection for two human beings. Yeah. So I think the dance is just an excuse, you know. Brazilian Zouk's just one of the languages we have. And in the end of the day, for me, is a tool. It's like a tool to bring people together in the embodiment, which I think, based on my experience that I have had in these 35 years in the existence, the experience through the body should be the most powerful ones. So that's the big why I do what I do.
I was about to say, I actually have a question for you guys. What is a way in which you are not contributing to the dancing that also makes you feel fulfilled? I think it's the answer that we do not answer. Like, there are certain no's that each one of us are giving. Like, there are ways in which we're not contributing. So, for example, I'm not DJing. And because I'm not DJing, I feel very fulfilled because I can put my attention time into what I actually really want to do. And I feel like sometimes we think of all the things that we do, but we do not highlight what are the things that you're choosing not to do that is actually making you a good contributor with what you do. So for me, I'm going to be honest, it is DJing. I do not DJ. I do not meddle into music. I don't know how to do a thing. DJs are one of my favorite people. I'm going to be honest. I just love DJs so much. I really feel like they are so important. They make me feel alive. A lot of what I do is connect to how they create storytelling. And I realize that that is not something that fulfills me. When I'm in that role, I feel more burnout when someone asks me to be in charge of the music, right? There's a level of responsibility there for me that is so huge. And I feel like I'm not skilled and I'm not interested in doing that. So I'm curious about you guys, like, what are the no's that you guys are giving that is actually allowing you to do what you do in a more fulfilled way?
Oh, it's a good question. I think DJ would be one as well. People ask, why don't you DJ? I'm like, oh my God, no. No. I think that's a big one. And I think too is like not worry too much about organizing big events. I think that's the two like boundaries that I've set. I'm not gonna DJ, and if I'm organizing things, is helping with the regular classes and a weekender here and there.
Yeah, so nice.
To me, it's been a big journey because I come from this generation of teachers that had to do everything. We had to travel, we had to have choreographies, we had to have 2 choreographies every year to stay relevant and to show that you actually wanted to continue being a traveling teacher. You had to have classes, you had to have DVDs back then, you had to DJ because back then we didn't really have people who were only DJs like we do now. The teachers were everything, right? So I think I'm in a phase now that luckily I learned to say no, or thankfully through a lot of discoveries in my life and rock bottoms, I learned how to say no. So then I stopped DJing, I stopped doing the traveling, and those 2 things, they really allowed me to say yes to something like the ZoukNerds that I love so much, or to focus more on my online interaction with people that I don't see every day, as well as with the local community, which is the people that I see not every single day, but most days of the week. So saying no to those things that actually made me happy when I was doing, like DJing and traveling. Oh, also choreographing and performing. Performing for me was never something I enjoyed unless it was a team performance, to be very honest, because my stress, anxiety, and perfectionism, like in a couple's performance, like me and my dance partner, has been always too much. but I enjoy so much every single day of training for the performance. Those 2 minutes or 3 minutes on the stage, no. But the 6 months before, absolutely love every single moment. So that's a no that I do now that I feel like, maybe I'll come back to it later.
Yeah.
In terms of like training and choreographing and doing other creative things.
Yeah.
It allows me now to be focused here in the community, and I'm really enjoying this.
Wow.
I was thinking of Glenn now. Glenn from Taipei,
Yeah.
because he owns the studio. He teaches the class. He DJs. He organizes the festival. He organizes the weekends. I think he's just not traveling instructor.
Yeah, but he travels to multiple
dance.
festivals a year,
Yeah.
Yes.
and he still runs 2, I think, businesses in the US that are non-dance related. How the hell does he do that? We don't know. I think he's another Ashley.
Yeah.
He's another Ashley.
It's very impressive.
And I think this kind of answers a little bit of the question, like, how can you be a great contributor? And I think it's by knowing your yeses just as much as you know your nos, and knowing your bandwidth, knowing there's a phase. I think what you brought there, Alisson, it brought so much perspective to me, something that I never thought before. It's like, oh yeah, that is true. There was a phase in which when you become a business owner, right? Like you're a business owner. We are business owners here. So I realized there are so many hats that I have to wear until I'm ready to delegate or whatever to be able to get that thing going. And knowing the bandwidth, how long for which purpose, right? Like how can I pass this on to someone else? And I think these make us great contributors in the dance scene when we understand what we're doing, what we're not doing, and how long we're doing what we need to but don't want to, I think that this clarity causes us to be more aware of how much you can give, how much you need to take or receive so we can keep going. I think it is this lack of awareness that causes us to think like we're doing so much more. So for example, I might be wrong and you guys can correct me, but somehow now I feel like more people feel pressure to do more. And these professionals and non-professionals, from professional side, they have to be DJs because now they need to have all of these things that when they travel somewhere, and maybe do they really? I feel like online right now we have access to so much good content.
Yeah.
That I feel like sometimes maybe just getting someone else to create an amazing set for us is going to be just as an amazing experience than trying to have this teacher be burned out. But from a social dancer perspective as well, many of my students, they feel pressured to show up for more classes, to show up for more teachers, to go to more events. They are not taking a new role, but they are taking in more task. Like they have more dance load if they want to contribute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I feeling like you cannot say no.
That's a big lesson that I learned in the last almost 10 years, but I didn't know in my first 10 years of dance, which was to understand if this is a yes for the task and for myself, or if that was just a yes for the task and a no for myself. I didn't know that. So for me, it was just always yes. I never say no. When it comes to work, if it comes to my career, to my professional career, and like investing into my presence, it's always a yes. Yes for a private lesson at midnight, at 6 a.m. Yes for an event that I have to fly 2 days on economy in the baggage compartment. It's a yes, because it's work. But it was not a yes for me. It was yes for the work. Yeah. So now I understand. And I feel so much better because every yes that I say to anything is because I said yes to myself first. If it's a maybe for myself, then it's a big no. A big, big, big no. And that's what I had to do when it comes to DJing, when it comes to traveling, when it comes to performing, or even when it comes to organizing events. Last year I organized 5 festivals in 1 year in 4 different continents. And then I thought, great. That was a big yes for me and for all of this. And I've learned so much. But for next year, that's not a yes. Next year, I'm only going to do 2 because that is how much I can put in front of me and say yes to me and to the task. So that's kind of like the system that I use in my head to understand whether I want to do this or not. And going back to what we were talking about, the roles in the community, at the beginning, we all had to do all of this. We had to DJ, we had to perform, we had to teach, we had to do a bunch of things. And then it became a point of sale. Like, wow, if you're a teacher and you also bring a show and you also DJ and you also have a student team, oh yeah, you're going to get hired in every event because you had like the full package, which is interesting because especially after the pandemic, we've seen that the package completely changed because of the rise of social media and social influence. You don't need to have shows. You don't need to be DJ. You just need to have lots of followers and lots of views, and then bang, you get hired. And then there's a lot of people who don't have that maybe social media bug that they love to do, or they simply don't care too much about social media. So then they feel the pressure to do all of the extras because they're like, well, I'm not very good with social media, so I have to do this to get noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many other layers that we can go on about it. But yes, it's very hard to understand this industry because it's an industry like no other. Like you said, we're business owners. Yes, but no, but maybe, but sometimes and more or less, because technically a business owner can have its own business running without them in it. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody in the dance community can. So we are like employees of our own business, right? So which is, again, makes it even harder because we're not actual business owners. We're just self-employed.
Yeah, our place of work is our body. Where's the place of work? My room and my body.
Yeah.
When do you get paid? When I'm teaching a class. But 90% of the rest of the time, nope.
Yeah. And this is a very interesting and intriguing topic because I can see in which ways the way we handle the business itself is also influencing this, how we think of what are the limits of the work that we do. I think if we limit our work to dance classes in person or in-person related stuff, that's when you see yourself as a dance teacher and that's your role, which is really an interesting segue because I feel like another way to be a good contributor in the dance scene is to know what you want out of your life and not try to suck every single meaning from that one stream of income or even passion. I like to say, even when I have a passion, I'm not just passionate about one thing. So even if dance is your biggest passion, I'm sure there's another way you can look to life and feel like, wow, there's passion in other avenues. And I feel like it becomes hard when that is the only stream we're sucking from or trying to get all the meaning from. In a more existential poly mindset here, I feel like, where do I derive meaning, income, finance, connection from? I think it takes a little bit of pressure and it helps us separate that, yes, there is a certain dependency on our presence because it's true. But when I realized this is a choice, this is not a have to, this is a choice. At any point you can actually change. I'm not saying you're going to be happy with choosing to do otherwise, but you can. And that freedom is going to give you more options that you can see right now. And I think this makes us great contributors because Gui and I have been talking about this. When you realize what is it that you want out of life, you do what you're saying. You're going to say yes to the things that you really asked you. And I think we think of value in general as quantity. But we are living in a world where we have a capacity to think of quality. And when you put that first as a value, I feel like, wow, I really want to have that person, mastery of some sort, in whatever it is that you're good at. I think there's a great value into this. We just need to shine the light on it.
Yeah. I was listening to this podcast and the guy being interviewed, the interviewee, they were having this conversation about AI. Yeah? And the guy was saying about what is AI? AI right now is a large language model. And basically he was saying most human interactions are base language models because we don't go deep. We talk, how is your day? Oh, it's very good. What did you do today? Oh, I went grocery shopping. What did you buy? Oh, I bought this thing. Cool. What are you doing this weekend? It's a conversation that he was saying that we can have with a machine. A machine will respond like a human. And it feels like a human because most human interactions are large language models. He said we rarely go deep. We rarely go deep and go philosophical and talk about deep stuff. And the autopilot of conversation is also the autopilot of doing. So I think we are in the autopilot of doing when we join the dance community in some capacity in terms of contributing more in the sense of creating opportunities for people to learn or create opportunities for people to feel welcome. I also think we move in autopilot. What I need to do? I need to do classes, weekly classes. Oh, I need to have a weekender. One of the things that I hear a lot in local community leaders that wants to start community leading or want to start a community, automatically they think I need a weekender, So I think because that's what everybody does maybe. I think it was what we were talking about, bringing more of like a different perspective to why is it that you want to contribute? How is it that you want to contribute? And seeing if the autopilot way makes sense to you, which is, I think, your nose, né? Like the autopilot way would be, oh, I need to start DJing. I need to start a class and I need to do a weekender.
Yeah.
But do I want to do all these three things, So I think in the end is understanding the autopilot or seeing how much you are just in inertia and see how much you are being truly intentional about what you are creating. I think that's the hardest part by far.
And everything is possible in this community. We have teachers now who are traveling, or maybe they have already stopped, but they became traveling teachers or famous for their craft. Maybe with social dancing first, others maybe with shows first, others with DJing first, others with teaching first. So there's a pathway for everybody to get to a certain high level if they want to. But there's no need for that unless that's what you actually want to do. I can speak for myself. I never wanted to become a traveling teacher. I never dreamed or even thought I had what it took to be a dancer or a teacher or a performer at that level. My story is very, very different. Like, I was in Australia, I was a student, I had student visa after student visa after student visa and after student visa, but I was a dance teacher already locally. But then I discovered that I could gain permanent residency in Australia if I became a certain level of an artist in the national and international industry. So that's kind of like how it happened, really. It was like, okay, I want to get to this visa. So then for that, I need to get this, I need to get that, I need to get this, I need to get that. And at the end of all of that, when I got the visa and I got all of the things, that's when I hit rock bottom and I'm like, I quit dance for a year. I quit dance for an entire year because I lost complete passion for what I was doing because I didn't have a purpose anymore. I wasn't doing dancing for the purpose of like expressing myself or being present in the community or anything like that, which is very sad to look back, but I couldn't see anything back then. I didn't know what was going on. I just had this one thing that I wanted to achieve. So me becoming an international dance instructor was not the goal. And then once I quit dancing, I did a lot of therapy and then I came back and I'm like, okay, if I come back, what are the conditions? It needs to be for the dancer first. It needs to be for the community person first. Every decision that I'm going to make for the future, it needs to be because I'm going to feel great as a person, as a dancer, as a teacher, and I'm always going to be part of a community in a way that I want that community to be better than I met, like you said before. Meeting a dancer, making them better than when I met them. Meeting a teacher, meeting a community leader, or meeting an entire community like in DC or in Melbourne or here in Taipei. Whatever the community is, every minute that I spend there, it's going to be to make that community 1% better every day. And that reconnected with my why and why I do everything nowadays. So that's a long journey that I think a lot of the times we don't get to have because maybe we didn't hit rock bottom yet, or maybe we just don't know. Like you're talking about confusion last episode. And that's pretty much where we are mostly, right?
Yeah. Alisson, what you're saying there is so powerful. It is so powerful. I think it represents what I talk about confusing strategy with the vision. Because when you have a pathway that you can choose to walk through, as a strategy to achieve XYZ. And the XYZ can be just a goal, it can be a vision for life or dance. And we get so stuck in the nitty-gritty action of the strategy that we believe that is the path. And as a coach, I swear to God, my goal is to do what you mentioned in the beginning, is taking people back and like, let's look at the last year. What brought you joy? What was meaningful? Like we say with NLP and all the work that I do, that the only thing that is really missing is for you to get the seed of a lesson. When the seed of a lesson comes through, there's a power of light into it that causes you to feel relieved. So like you looked back and you felt like, okay, I did 5 festivals. So this reflection, I did 5 festivals. How did I feel? Looking at my future, which is the vision, what is the new strategy? That kind of connects with the idea of renewal when we were talking in the previous episode about renewing the consensual intimacy that you're sharing with someone in the dance floor in whichever shape or form. It's this renewal of your relationship with your vision, with your goal. Like, okay, understanding the why that's been guiding me and where I'm heading. What do I need to shift in strategy? And I think this is what I see working with professional dancers, because I work with professional dancers that are miserable. Miserable. Like it is the craziest thing for you to see how much joy they are bringing to someone else in their misery. And I feel like, how is it even, like how life is so complex? Because they're absolutely passionate. It has nothing to do with why they do or where they want to go, but how they're doing, because they think that's the only option. Like I'm going to give a kind of a random example, but most people that I work with problems with Jack and Jill in competitions and performances, just understanding they have the freedom to choose not to do it shifts their relationship with the thing. When they really get it, when I say you can go and choose, I'm not going to do Jack and Jill in this one. You don't have to, like, and this is what I feel like makes us good contributors, is to talk about it. And I know I talk a lot and I feel like this is part of my passion and my gift. And I throw so many things out at people when I'm talking, because I feel like making this conversation like daily, making this a daily conversation causes us to have the freedom to understand I can change the strategy. And another point that I believe, for you to be a better contributor in the dance scene, is to stop contributing in the same exact way that everyone does. So if you go to a restaurant and everyone wants to be the chef, because there's a power play in the idea of being the true chef of the Michelin, who the freaking show is serving? Who is eating? Who is helping the chef get the vegetables cut? I feel like the power game that we play into trying to get worth and whatever, status or validation out of certain roles inside of the dance scene causes everyone to want to be doing the same, because we believe that is actually the valuable one. Once you understand there is value in every single form of contribution on the social dance world, you're going to do whatever it is that you do. Sometimes I feel so amazing. I swear to God, I go to places as a guest instructor or a guest visitor, whatever, and I help them clean out the floor. I feel so happy that I can clean up the space for people to come through and help to put the lights. No one knows that I was the one doing that, but I know the joy of contribution. So for me right now, people ask me, what is your biggest contribution? I say, being a personal transformation coach. When they start talking about technique, I'm going to ask them to look at the moon. And they get out of that bubble and they feel like, oh, the best way I can contribute is to bring something else that I'm also good at, that is not just dance. What are other things that you do? Like, do you show up for people? Like I saw Gui interacting with people. Like, are you a contributor when you're not in a specific role that you paid for? Are you a contributor when you're not being asked to do something specific? Are you a team player in all the areas and ways you show up? Because if you're doing this, you're very likely to be a great contributor no matter which role you play, you know?
Bro, that's some truth right there. And as an organizer, I can tell you, a lot of people out there, they're good Instagram performers, but not good contributors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's hard, né? That's really hard, because I really love that you said the aspect of power that I forgot about it, which is one of the things that is a silent, I think sometimes a silent driving force, at times not so silent. I really don't know, but I have observed and I have heard that the aspect of being the one who created the thing, being the one who invites people in, being the one that bring a mindset of sometimes ownership of the thing, my community, My thing, my
Student.
Because you can say my student in the sense of the person that takes classes with me, from me.
Yeah.
But you can say the mine is like it's mine.
Yeah.
You know? And if the student goes to another school, to another place, or to the, it's, how come you mine?
Yeah.
You
How come
know?
did you leave me?
Yes. And being the person who brings other people in. And there's like a thing to that. And I don't know if people go into it thinking that way, thinking that will bring them this thing, or if it's something that happens as they do it. And then they get caught up in this thing, like it's a very interesting thing to think about, mostly because of observations.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I was talking to you about it or another friend, but since I was a kid, my mom and my uncle used to tell me this. I've always observed quietly and just watching people be people. And in this dance world, because of our bubble that we live in, we observe a lot other teachers, community leaders, organizers, and then we draw certain conclusions based on what we are seeing, and we see their suffering at times. And many times we see their suffering for not achieving the thing that they wanted, not getting there quick enough. There is one thing, not getting there quick enough. So the realization of the amount of time it takes and effort. The other thing is when they're faced with what they see as a lack of recognition, or they do receive recognition, but not in the way that they think is the appropriate way. And the burnout, the tiredness that come from these two things. They keep doing it, but people keep not seeing what they're doing. And they want someone to see what they're doing. And sometimes people see what they're doing. They receive the thank yous, they receive the, if it wasn't for you, but not in the way that they would like to receive. So I think it plays so much with human nature in this very profound way. That, like in the converse about sensuality, intimacy, what is, I think is very similar here. We are presented with aspects of existing in society and community that was laid out for us by someone else. But then when we go into the dance world, we are laying out those things all over again for ourselves. And sometimes we don't know how to navigate the thing. And the last thing that I found really powerful is you said, not everybody can be a chef,
Or that they don't have to.
They don't have to. And I remember in the temple, because I used to do retreats in Ibiraçu, Espírito Santo,
You do.
in a Zen Buddhist monastery. And there was a lot of talks about the power of being a servant, the power of serving a leader or serving someone, and how much joy and how much contribution you extract, but not being the head, but being the person behind, helping that. And that resonated so much with me. It's so powerful. And I think that I wish more people also connected with the power that exists in serving.
And this is why we're here. This is why I feel like ZoukNerds is so important, to be able to reach people. I keep on saying, like, there's so much that you guys can contribute right now, just in awareness. I feel like there's no bigger contribution in life than awareness. I swear to God, because there's nothing else any of us can do. I cannot make anyone be anything, do anything. There's so much I cannot control. But there is one thing that all of us have, a capacity to influence. And when I say this, it's not trying to influence someone to become something, it's to be seen, to have a capacity to see. I feel like this is what you guys are doing here, is like raising space for awareness. Because this awareness already creates permission for them to understand, oh, it's more than dance. Every time someone comes to me, like, it's so much more than dance. And I want people that stop dancing, that take breaks from dancing. I want teachers that decide not to do a weekender for 1 year, or that decide to, like, I want to quit this thing that I was doing for 2 years because now I want to learn jiu-jitsu. I want them to feel like they have freedom to exist in this space and not that they are a slave of the mindset that we created here. For me, if whoever is listening this here right now, I'm going to share with you a very personal 2 principles that I live by, that I think makes life easier when we don't have awareness, but we have willingness, which is gratitude. Gui and I were talking about this here so much last night, and forgiveness. For me, this is the most powerful combination you can have. And the reason why I believe this is because I work with this and other practices. They are literally part of my way of living and the work that I do. And I see the shift in people because gratitude allows you to celebrate any levels of win from any timeline, present, future, past. Like it's something that is like timeless. I can be grateful even about what I'm thinking of doing. That's already bringing joy to the present moment. The aspiration. Forgiveness is because it allows you to know that however you showed up, whenever you showed up, it was all that you had. It was all that was possible. And it brings in a lesson. So if you can cultivate in your personal life gratitude and forgiveness, like I forgive myself for not having shown up the way that I thought I should have. I forgive myself for having, like Alisson, I thought I wanted to be a traveler and I was traveling and I realized I'm miserable. And now I'm learning the lesson. I forgive myself for stretching myself too thin by not knowing better at that point. I forgive you for asking more from me than what I had to give in this dance. Like when an organizer sometimes is pushing other artists into other ways because we do push each other. That's the truth. It's not like an unconscious concept. You know, like we push each other in so many ways and we feel pushed by even when no one is pushing. Someone does a choreography that I think is better for mine. I'm pushed by my own expectations. I feel like I should be doing that. I forgive myself for thinking in a way that was not efficient or loving or kind towards myself and others. It shifts. It makes you a bigger contributor because I feel very emotional because I work with people very closely. Oh my God, here I go. I work with people in the Zouk team in a way that people don't know. Everyone says, Nelly, if you were to go crazy and share all the things you heard people, like it is a lot. And I work with people that do not get along. I work with enemies. Let's say like this person doesn't like that, or someone had a conflict that was unresolved. Okay, enemies is just a joke here, but we have these conflicts, right? And sometimes they feel like there's so much pressure. How can I continue in this industry when I've created so many little conflicts of interest, desire, or decision? And I see these things dissolve. I see people shift. Absolutely how they feel towards someone else or the stories that they used to tell themselves, because it stops them from contributing with their own talents. And sometimes all they are practicing is gratitude and forgiveness because it creates space for awareness, clarity, getting out of confusion, you know? And it's very meaningful. I think what we do in the dance scene is so meaningful to me because I ask myself, why do I want to be a personal transformation coach for social dancers? Like, go be more niched than this. I keep, and people are like, why? And I feel like, because I believe in this community so much. I believe in the quality of human beings here so much. Even when they don't know. They come here, they are rigid, they are pushing people away. And I feel like they took the step to show up here. With all their triggers and fears and lack of knowledge and confusion and judgment, and they show up, they chose to be here for whatever reason. Like, I feel so much admiration for everyone. Professionals, dancers, organizers. I feel like it's just a matter of time and awareness. More we say, better we contribute, you know? So I got a little bit emotional.
Amazing.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love every word, and I'm taking mental notes, and I'm for sure going to be listening to this episode again myself. Not only when I'm editing, but actually afterwards, when it goes live, I'm going to watch it as a listener.
Yeah, there is like a power to it that when we connect it, a power to partner dancing. Yeah. I talk this all the time here, ZoukNerds. I was so lucky of being learning primarily at the Jaime Rocha dance school in Rio because the human aspect of connecting in partner dance was so highlighted almost every day, basically every day. And the playfulness with it as well, playing with the embodiment of different archetypes, embodying different ways of being, different ways of moving, embodying animals like a panther or an elephant, you know, because it brings us to our bodies. Dance brings us to our bodies, but partner dancing brings us to our bodies
In a relational way, yeah.
no relational way, and developing the silent communication, which is like we are not saying things, but we are saying a bunch of things with our bodies, and we are feeling all these things in relation to it, and having to deal with them, and just like when we understand the power of this tool, I think for me, it never gets boring.
Mm-hmm.
It never gets like, oh my God, again. I'm going to talk about this thing again. Because not again.
Yes.
It's not again. It's almost like it's new.
Yeah.
It's new every time because we're dealing with new people every time. We're dealing with new universes every time. And I think what you reminded me here when you were saying is to keep the constant memory that the complexity, like there's a whole universe right in front of me. When I'm teaching a class, there are like 12 universes. And to connect using this tool that I think when I talk about professionals, then when we talk about professionals, it's a tool for recognition. It's a tool for freedom. It's a tool for meaning.
Yeah.
It's a tool for connection. It's a tool for physical touch. That's the blessing and the curse of partner dancing. It's too powerful of a tool.
Yeah.
And then when you said, go do jiu-jitsu for a year, go do something else. I love that so much. Because in nonviolent communication, one of the things we learn is be mindful of your single strategies. If you have one strategy to meet all of these needs, when there's something up with this strategy, all of your needs are going to be shaken.
Yeah.
And that's when the problems arise. And then you blame the tool.
Yeah.
Oh, the problem is the dance.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
But the tool is not the problem.
Yeah.
The tool is a tool.
Yeah.
It exists.
Yeah. And I will add one thing. I'm thinking of, I don't know if Alisson knows this, but most of the things that I learned right now was to observing certain things that you did and said, which I feel like there is an add-on for a professional dancer, which is the leading by example aspect. You know, like you gotta lead by example to some, and it doesn't mean that it's gonna look like a social dancer because the level of responsibility is so much higher. You know, like you're the mom and the dad in the room, like you're the parent. So there's a level of responsibility that is placed on you for the environment. And this is just part of life, right? So I feel like this leading by example is so important added to this because, for example, when I went to Prague a few years ago, I was down the path of miserable traveler, international artist, because I was teaching in Brazil. I was just a bolsista. I was teaching just like a teacher with ZoukNerds and Val and Vanessa, but I was not being paid. I was doing that for the sake of fun, you know, like this is one of the things that I do out of my life. It gives me meaning. I came to the US. That's when I became an official instructor, in a sense that people gave me that as a profession. I just walked in here and I was already a teacher. I swear to God, I feel like, wow. But I'm a teacher in general, but I was not a dance teacher. But I walked in here, she's from Brazil. She learns from Paloma Alves, ZoukNerds. She already teaches there. She's a teacher. Like, it's a very automatic. And I realized, okay.
Obviously.
I love teaching. If you give me anything to teach how to make coffee, I'm going to teach. So this is it. I went down this path. Then I became more of a national. Start traveling, whatever national looks like, or regional. Then I started traveling. I went to Mexico. I started ZoukNerds, and I went to Prague. And that's where I met Alisson, actually, for the first time, if I'm not wrong. Then Alisson is there. I was teaching private lessons at 6 a.m. At midnight. Like, man, I would just turn myself upside down. Whatever they asked. And I felt like I have no choice. I have no freedom. Then Alisson is beautifully walking in front of me, going to the gym, like all into his finances and gym. And I was like, man, this guy has structure. This guy is solid. Like, he has this solid attitude. And in my mind, don't hate me. It's okay if you do. We'll figure it out. We have forgiveness now.
Never.
But most people that I look at feel like, man, they're so flaky. Like, this artist, like everyone's crazy. Do I need to be like this? And Alisson for me was this solid thing. He has a solid opinion. He has a solid thing to say. He might shift, you know? This that I think I don't think it anymore, but it comes with the same thing. And that's when I became more passionate in the dance scene because I felt like, oh, someone is kind of legit. Like, this is my story, you know? Like, oh, he's not just a dancer. He's a business owner. He shows up for himself. And then he comes to me and I said, you're going to teach private lessons. And he's like, no, I just teach private lessons at home. I don't know if it was Australia at that point. On Tuesdays and Thursdays from this time to this time I have meetings. If they cannot take private lessons at this time, I'm sorry, I cannot do anything. This is the time that I teach private lessons. I listened. This was the first time he told me they had a schedule and he would not do outside of this because of that and that. And I was listening to him and I was like, wow,
Is that possible?
it is possible for me to choose how I live this life. Like, it was so inspiring. I went back home and I said, I'm just teaching at this time to this time. And my life as a professional dancer, when I put that limit and I started leading by example, was like, actually was more abundant. I became more abundant because people understood I respect my time. How can I tell people respect your space, respect your time? Whenever you need me, I'm here for you. Like, okay, matching. My behavior doesn't match what I teach.
Yeah.
So the way you're handling yourself, your business, your time, in whichever way, business-wise, even if it was, this is a marketing strategy to create scarcity, man, this is a very efficient one. Whatever it was, if it was an internal desire, or if it was a business strategy, it doesn't matter. It was solid. And it matched whatever you were teaching. So that alignment there changed me. I swear to God, Alisson, you became this like, okay, when I feel like I'm losing track, I go back to people that I believe to be centered, like somehow I feel like, they are centered. So the leading by example aspect, this alignment as a professional, might feel limiting. In the beginning, I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cut myself short. I'm going to make less money if I don't start creating crazy videos on social media somewhere in the monument spinning around. If I don't do it, like it might feel limiting, but people meet you. The people that are there for you, your customer, your student, whatever, they see you. Mm-hmm. And it becomes I'm much more likely to pay more money for things that are aligned with the things that I believe in than I am to pay for anything else that is just whatever, So there's an increasing value that I think for professional dancers exists when you lead by example and you forgive yourself in the learning process.
Yeah. Well, thank you. First of all, thank you for sharing that story. It means a lot to me. And as you can tell, this story happened after my awakening, because before I would have been there right next to you teaching Prada lesson at that time, at these hours, and just saying yes to everything. But that was definitely after everything that I said. And that's it, like for 10 years, I thought if I say no, then I'm going to disappear. Nobody's going to care about me. No, that's when I burnt out and when I quit. But then when I started limiting myself, not for the sake of scarcity or anything like that, but I started limiting myself to make sure that everything that I do it 100% of me. I'm bringing myself 100% because if I say yes to everything all the time, then I'm just showing up. I don't ever want to just show up. I want to bring in my full force, my full self. And when I'm there, my phone is completely away from me. My notifications are off because I'm 100% plus right here, right now. And that's why I feel that when you learn to do that and when you learn to limit yourself and when you're able to show up yourself even more, now talking about finances and business-wise, bro, those years that I was in Melbourne after my, recovering from the dance burnout, they were the most financially free that I've had in like 15 years of my career before. I never thought about money because I was so invested in my community. I was so invested in every hour of my teaching, of my working, of my planning and everything like that, that the value just increased.
Yeah.
And people saw that, people follow that. And I didn't really have to promote myself. I didn't have to travel the world. I didn't have to sell things. I just had to do a better job. But to do a better job, I had to say more no's. And all of this, I couldn't understand how possible that was. If I say more no's, then I'm going to get more work and I'm going to get paid more. Huh? How does that work?
It's counterintuitive.
It does. It just does.
Yeah. There are two books that I'm absolutely passionate about. I'm just going to drop it there in case you guys are interested. I was telling Gui that I'm living in this life of essentialism. So there is a book called Essentialism and the book called The One Thing.
I know. I love that.
I'm so passionate about these books and you can take them with a grain of salt. Like everything that you learn, it's a learning curve, even understanding what the one thing. I'm an Enneagram type 7. I don't know if anyone cares about this or knows what I'm talking about. So, but the personality type of the Enneagram type 7 is the scattered, do it all, freedom. No one is going to stop me, which means my tendency, if I allow myself to go into an unhealthy pattern, is to do so much of whatever. Like my mom says, like, you have 15 projects, you don't complete them. Like you talk to everyone, you're very social, but you don't finish a sentence. And I still need to bring myself back, right? So my path with no's has been understanding what is the freaking yes that I'm actually saying. Once you put attention into this yes that is so meaningful, like for example, ZoukNerds, you could be doing thousands of other things right now, both of you guys. But when you understand the value of this yes, every single other 10,000 no's that you are giving, they're just so easy to give. I tell people, so the essentialism and the one thing, like just go search for these concepts because they really allows you to align. And then no's is you dusting things off out of the way. I like to say, like in the imagery, you think of a path. And when we think of a no, some people think of a pebble or a rock that they are putting on top of them. And they are stopping themselves from even reaching the thing. It's becoming more muddy. But it's actually the opposite. There's a lot of rocks in your path. Every time you say no, you take away, you make a space to walk. You take a different rock, you make another space to walk. So it is counterintuitive that you're cleaning up the path, but it's actually what is happening when those get more aligned. So dancers out there, if you want to be a bigger contributor, nobody want to contribute. Okay, truly.
And say more no's.
And say more no's to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I love that imagery. I love that imagery. Really, to understand the no's as clearing path, not
Yes.
as a negative thing. Love that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, I saved to watch like a part of the interview or podcast with Gabor Mate, like a specialist in trauma. The title is Saying Yes is Making You Sick. Why saying yes is making you sick? So it probably talks about this idea. Yeah.
The people pleaser healing phase that I work with behind the scenes that you guys don't see. I just talk about the superficial level.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, like, okay, let's work.
I bet it's deep. Yeah. Because there's so many
Well-
people struggling, so many people struggling with the things that they want to do and they want to become, and they think they're going to do that by saying yes to every opportunity.
Yeah.
It might sound counterintuitive to be more selective about what you do and how you do. Yeah, because you think, oh, I need to go out there, you know, so I need to say yes to everything.
Yeah.
I also like the imagery of the rocks. I'm going to use that.
Nice.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And now, what would be one last thing that you'd like to share with everybody in relationship to this episode that we've been talking about? Or maybe something different. Let's just put it out there.
What I'm going to add, just because we're in this moment here right now, is like your no's can be given with so much loving kindness. I think we've associated the no with a feeling of restriction and rejection. NVC is a big lesson for me, understanding the difference between a demand and a request. And going to the previous episode, a little bit of the essential aspect of someone honoring themselves and saying no to you. And you know how positive this is long term. Every time someone comes to you, every time you receive a no from people, honestly, and you give no's honestly and you are received, the level of trust is so strong. Because I feel like, wow, I can show up in every single way and be welcomed and be received. So for me, it's like, yeah, like not only shift the mindset, but the energy around the idea of saying no. It can be given and received with loving kindness. It doesn't mean it's comfortable. Sometimes it's loving kindness, uncomfortable energy. It takes courage, but it can be a very positive thing overall once you get used to it, you know? It's more of a, I like the English, I'm good, thank you. So you don't say no, say, I'm good, thank you. It's like, do you want this? I'm good. Thank you. I feel like this is so positive. Like this mindset for me is like, oh, this is so positive. It's not like, no, thank you. It's like, I'm good, thank you. So anyways, this expression is something that I invite you guys to step into.
So I think the last thing I would say, it would be reflect on the autopilot. Reflect on the large language model that you might be in, especially if you are in the dance world as a professional or as a community leader or contributing in any form. Like reflect on how much what you are doing is coming from what it is that you would like to do or it is what you think you should do. So like reflecting on the should that might exist in the head, and awareness. I love that you said that because I talk about so much about this word in the podcast. Because when I watch on the reels, the little things, I say the word awareness so much, and I'm like, I'm getting tired of saying the word awareness. So I like that you said the word awareness. Shoot, because in the end of the day, it all comes down to awareness. My practice, my all life, all day practice, the practice of acquiring awareness. So, yeah, reflection on the autopilot, I think, would be my takeaway.
And I'm going to add to the awareness bank. And I'm just going to say that we need to be aware and identify our why. For me, that was the biggest shift in my life when I quit dance. And through therapy, I understood why I dance. I dance because I love to connect with people. I love to help people become better at something. If I ever quit dance, I would be doing something else that could help somebody get somewhere. For me, that's my why in life. Dance is the tool. Event organization is the tool. ZoukNerds is the tool. Understand your why, so then nothing ever feels like you are spending energy. For me, being here at midnight Taipei time is making me energized. And good luck for me to sleep before 3 a.m. because it's not going to happen. I'm going to be up until like 4 a.m. or something because I have so much energy and happiness now because I'm doing something that feeds my why.
Yeah.
And with that, all of the priorities will just fall into place. In my opinion, when you understand your why, your priorities, they just happen. You don't really think, should I do this or should I do that? It's just there, right there, because your why is right there. So I think that's a very good triangle here that we can close this episode on. Hopefully, for everyone listening, this was an episode that took you to the moon, but in a very happy and energizing way that you feel seen, feel heard, feel inspired to be you and to look at yourself. And like Nelly said, forgive yourself and to live a better and happier life in dance and outside of dance. So thank you, Nelly. Thank you, Gui. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you so much.
And Nelly, I hope that we can find our ways to, align the time zones, the West and the East and the far, far, far East here, so we can have you back more times. Or anytime both of you are on the same city, please just let me know and I'll wake up at 4 a.m. here to record whatever happens.
Yeah.
Yes. It's going to be a pleasure. Thank you so much for creating this space. I think you guys are gifting the community in the ways that you don't even know yet. I feel like it's just the seed of better dancers, better human beings, I'm very grateful for the work you both do, honestly.
Thank you, my love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All that we hope is that people are still listening to us at this point, because I want to say thank you once again. And beijos, everybody. Abraços. And ciao.
Bye, people.
See you in the next one. Bye.